It's raining where I live. I live in southern Colorado and it's raining and it's really beautiful, so I have the windows open. I hope the cars and everything passing by isn't too distracting. We have 3 piles to pick from, and we're doing today's reading is obviously from the title, what they admire most about you. And I did pull a couple cards at the end to see how they feel about this connection and to see if they admire anything physically. Pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and then just feel free to pick your pile. Hi, pile number 1. If you picked the rainbow quartz, rainbow rose quartz, this reading is for you. I do want to remind you guys that I do have private readings, so you guys could purchase a private reading from me that's going to be more in touch with your energy, more specific to you, instead of a generalized reading that doesn't always resonate with everyone, because it's just me reading the energies of the people who might be able to find this video. But you could do that in the description. But let's just get started with your reading. First of all, we have 4 of Wands twice, and overall your pile really talks about you having dealt with something in the past or recently that your person kind of saw you really handle it really well and really push through and really come out on top for it. I think it could have really been a really tough situation, either emotionally or in some way it was really draining, and they saw you go through it, and they saw you continue to be like really empathetic and really kind and loving and giving during that time, even though you had something really hard to deal with. It could have been like, I think it's family related for most of you guys. You guys helped out your family in some way, and you did it without like judging them for it or like being upset at them or like bad mouthing them, like why do I have to help them, like that kind of sense. And they also really see that like maybe you as a person have a really strong foundation and sense in who you are, or at least they perceive you that way and they admire that, as well as they like that you're family oriented, if you are. But they also think that you're like a really fiery person. You don't step down. You fight for what you believe in, what you think is right, for the people and the things you care about. You're like not afraid to be who you are. At least that's the way they see it. But they see that like other people would have just laid down and cried and been like, why is my life so hard? Why does this happen to me? Why is, you know what I mean? Like, woe is me. But they saw that you didn't do that. And they really admire that. That you have a strong backbone, for once. That you have a strong sense of self, like I said earlier. And also throughout this situation that you had to deal with, you still balanced everything in your life, whether it's, everything in your life, whatever you're juggling, you balanced it, and you balanced it really well. And you also create new opportunities for yourself. I don't think you sit around and wait for things. And they kind of put themselves in your shoes, like what they would do, and they think that they wouldn't have done the same, that they would have been weaker or couldn't have handled it the way you handled it. They think that you have a lot of emotional intelligence. And that while you are like this balanced, this empathetic, this loving, giving person, you still, like I said, you still have that spice, you still have personality and fire. And you cause chaos and conflict, but like in a fun way. Like they like that they're never bored when it comes to you. When they think of you, when you guys hang out, whatever the case is, they don't find you boring at all. Even though you're responsible and you are who you are. And in most cases, people would be like, oh, that person's so practical, like, oh, a little dull and boring. But that's not the case with you at all. Pile number 1, that's all I really have for you. It's a short pile today. Oh, but if you want to get into what physical attributes they find attractive, definitely your body, just like the shape of you. They just like to look at you. And there's something about you that tempts them. Maybe they're like, not supposed to be crushing on you and not supposed to be thinking about your body, but they do. They look at you and they just admire your looks, just in general. How you look to them is very attractive, and they just kind of sometimes daydream about it and about being with you in that way, but they kind of are like, I can't. But they're so tempting. That kind of situation. Pile number 1, that is the end of your reading. Thank you so much. Hi, pile number 2. This reading is for you if you picked pile number 2. I do want to let you guys know that I do offer personal readings, so if you guys kind of want a more personalized or a reading that's specific to you and your situation, or if you have any questions that you would like to ask tarot about, you guys can find my how to get in touch with me and how to purchase a reading through my description, in the description, as I should say. But we're just going to get into your reading on what your person admires about you. So your pile is probably the sweetest and the most like, this person really likes you. And they like you in a traditional sense. And it's so funny because for all piles, I only tried to pick one of these, of the wisdom of the oracle, but 2 came out, and I almost didn't take the second one, but I was like, it goes so well with the rest of the cards that I just have to take it. So they admire that you guys seem to fit really well together, that they seem to really like you, and they're not exactly too sure, and they don't really like to overthink why, but they just think that you're kind of perfect for them in a sense. Now, this is only going to apply to a few of you guys, or however many of you guys, but they really see you as like their opposite, but in a way that opposites attract. So they think that you are really like spontaneous, and you like to do fun things, and you're quick-minded, and you sometimes can even take small risks. Maybe they're not well thought out, but they really like that about you. And I think it's because they think that it fits with them, because they might be a little more serious, or a little, you have to kind of push them out of their comfort zone, and you do that for them. And so they really, really think that that's so important. They see you as their balance. They see you as their polar opposite, but in a way that works really well and that is really balanced, to the point they could see marrying you. They see you as a soulmate of sorts. They could see having a whole family with you. If you guys don't already have a family, but they really see you as like someone very important to them, that really, really completes them in a way. They also really like that they could come to you for comfort, and like maybe you give them a good advice, or maybe you just listen to them, or maybe you make them feel better about whatever it is that they're going through or struggling with. And they think you're just very unique. And with the 9 of Pentacles and the Courageous Peony, I think there's a part of you that is really not shy when it comes to your looks. Maybe like you take risks, or you're not afraid to pamper yourself, or you're not afraid to try new hairstyles, or there's something about your looks that they really like. That it's like a little different than everybody else. Like you're not just average. But they look at you, and they also really, 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 really like your chest area. So if you're male or female, they like your breast or your pecs or your chest or your nipples. Where they want to see under your shirt. Yeah, your person really likes you, because then we have co-create, and there's no place like home. So you feel like home to them. And they also want to create a life with you. This person just admires you for who you are. And they really like to spend time with you. File number 2, that's all I really have for you. If this resonated with you, please let me know, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye, guys. Hi, pile number 3. If you pick pile number 3, this reading is for you. I do want to let you guys know, or remind you guys, that I do private readings. So if you want a more personalized or more specific reading, you can always purchase one from me in the description below. But let's get into sorry, my light is going out. 1 minute. Okay, much better. So I like your pile a lot, and the reason being is because seeing you through their eyes is pretty special and what they admire about you, because I think that either they've or you've had some kind of like heartbreak, and I think they've seen your heart kind of break multiple times for maybe different reasons, but they also see how you kind of piece yourself back together without their help, without the help of anyone that they could really see. And they really admire that about you, that you have had your heart broken many times for different reasons. It doesn't specifically have to be a love reason, but maybe someone in your family passed away, or whatever the case is. They've seen your heart break, and they've seen you pull yourself together. They also just really like, we have like, I think that you're spiritual or a very intuitive person, and they see that about you. They see that you kind of listen to your intuition, you listen to the messages of the universe, and you use those to make decisions, or to do fun things, or maybe you're free-spirited with the presence of wands, and they really admire that, because you get like these urges from within to do stuff, and you do it, and you learn from it, and you grow from it, and they've seen you grow a lot. They've just been on the sidelines. I don't know if they realize, but I think they have also helped you grow in some way. And they've seen you be vulnerable, and they think that that's so special, because a lot of people hold things in, or they have a hard time showing perceived weaknesses, which is like vulnerability. People are sometimes really scared to be vulnerable because it hurts and it opens you up to rejection, and they've seen you be vulnerable a couple times, and they really admire that. They think that that's so special, and also that you're able to trust your intuition the way you are. And I think that they admire that you also know when to take breaks, or you also know when to, like after heartbreak, or after something really intense happening, or a situation in your life that was quite challenging, or it changed you in some way, you were able to realize that hey, I need a little break from this, I need a little break from what's going on. So you take a break, and you rest, and you rebuild yourself from the ground up. And then we also have something a little more practical, which is the 8 of Pentacles. And, well, I don't know about practical, but it talks about creativity and craftsmanship. And I think that you're really creative. And then we also have your life as a canvas, artist manifestation, and creative accountability. So you are really creative. Of course, it's going to vary for everyone, but it could literally be art or music, or any way that you can be creative, you are. And they see it, and they just think that's so cool, and they find it kind of sexy, and they would even want to watch you do your art. Yeah. And then they really like having conversations with you. It kind of turns them on. I think that this person's they're pretty intellectual in some ways, and they admire because they feel like you're very soft. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but they do see your heart, and they think that your heart's like, you're a little bit of a bleeding heart. You feel for people, you care for people, you love people, even when you don't want to, or even when you try to hide it, and they see that. And but they also see the part of you that can be intellectual and witty and more logical, and they really like that. Physical attributes. Physically, what they admire about you: your legs. Some of these people want to rub lotion on your legs. Some of them like when you dress the way you dress. They just like your style, and they like the way you look. in the clothes you choose, and they like your hair when it's like free flowing. When it's free flowing, they just want to run their fingers down your hair. They like that sometimes you can be that like soft, super sweet, like I love everybody, and then they love that you can sometimes be like fuck everyone and you're kind of cold and you can shut everybody off. They kind of like those two sides of you, maybe because they kind of have those two sides. I don't know, you let me know. That's all I really have for pile number 3. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.